Now I wanted to set myself a little challenge to create a landing page, but using AI and some other tools that I've got access to. A couple of things that I wanted to do. I didn't want to use WordPress, but I still wanted to have the ability to use some kind of page builder for easy visual layout without that reliance upon WordPress simply for a landing page. I wanted to use AI, so I didn't have to write all the copy myself, so I could see how good this is and if you could use this in a real world environment. I wanted to use stock imagery and have access to a ton of that. Now, a lot of what I'm going to be covering today is not free tools, but you could probably find free variations of this or low-cost variations if you wanted to. So that's the challenge for today. Let's take a look at how far I can get with the tools I have access to. One benefit though, if this works out and you have access to similar tools or you'd like to grab similar tools, maybe this is something you could take and put into your own business, or maybe even a little bit of a side hustle to start creating landing pages, those kinds of things for clients, and then make a little bit of cash from doing it. Let's find out though, first of all, if I fall flat on my face. Okay, so the first tool we're going to be using is Writesonic. You could use any other AI tool. There are tons out there, and I recently covered Bertha AI. If you wanted to use something like WordPress, maybe take a look at Bertha AI. Probably would do a very similar job to what we're going to do here today. But this is something I picked up on AppSumo probably about a year or so ago, and I kind of keep going back to it because I quite like how good it actually is. So let's go ahead and sign into my account. So once I've signed in, this is my dashboard, and I can now start to fine-tune what I want to do to create AI-based content. So for this example, we're going to use the website tool. And what I like about Writesonic is I can use this to create landing pages, and it will actually mock up a range of landing pages for me so I can see what it looks like. Pretty cool. Okay, so you can see when I go to the website side of things, we've got landing pages, landing page headlines, feature and benefits. Now you could quite easily, and I probably would, use various different ones, like for example, the landing pages and potentially the features and benefits feature together to create a great solid starting point. So this now allows me to go ahead and just input some information about the content that I actually want to create. Now I'm just about to launch a course of mine, which is to do with the client lifecycle. So I'm going to use that as the basis of this. And if it comes out looking pretty good, I'm actually going to use it for my landing page for that particular project. So client lifecycle landing page, product or service name. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in a description and also some features and benefits. So to save time, I'm not going to make you watch me do that. I'll just put that in and come back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and filled out the information, ready to go. So I put in some features and benefits that I think you're going to get from the course and just a brief description of the course itself. Let's go ahead and generate those landing pages. So we're going to let that go ahead and run, and then we'll see what it comes back with. Okay, so this is going to give us 3 different examples, and the nice thing about this is it does kind of mock them up into a landing page. And you can actually grab the code for this if you wanted to use this exactly as it is. Probably wouldn't recommend it. Another thing I do like is the text option, so I can simply click on that and it'll download all the text that's included in this particular landing page. So let's have a little look. The only course you'll ever need to get started freelancing. The client lifecycle is a complete system for project management from the initial meeting through final delivery. You learn everything from designing a proposal to making sure your clients are happy and getting paid. And you're getting paid. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't mind that at all. So then we've got Sell with the Client Lifecycle. Client Lifecycle is a free course, which it's not, that will show you how to build ongoing relationships with your clients. You'll learn how to create processes and systems that reduce the strain on freelancing and increase your profitability. It's all right. So let's have a little look through. Learn to streamline your business. Client Lifecycle is a course that aims to help freelancers and web designers automate their project management skills. The course will teach you how to develop your own winning processes to make your web design business more efficient and profitable. I like that feature. That's pretty good. You can see this is grabbing the information from what I've put in there for the feature benefits. And this does come out with some pretty natural sounding language, which again is something that I think is really good about this Writesonic platform. It's definitely improved since I first grabbed it. Okay, the only course you'll need for freelancing. Have a ton of decisions to make when you're freelancing. Get the knowledge and tools you need from industry experts to take control. Yeah, I'm not really worried about that. I don't like the look of that one. Stop losing revenue from missed opportunities. Successful proposal. Yeah, that's not so good. I like this one. This one looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Learn the most efficient tools and best practices to operate your business. Yeah. Our course will help you create comprehensive timelines, better estimate projects, and improve your workflow. It's snappy, but it's not really where I want it to be. Stop wasting time on client tasks. Client Lifecycle Element course for freelancers and web designers looking to streamline their project management skills. Course covers everything from client communication, project estimation, client feedback, establishing boundaries, getting paid, and ending the relationship. Okay. I mean, there is something in there about not starting the relationship, but okay. Learn how to streamline your web design business. The Client Lifecycle is a course that will help you learn how to develop your own winning processes for project management. Whether you're just starting or want to improve, this course will help you take control of your web design business and make it more profitable. Again, I like that feature 1. That's putting some decent information from my feature benefit. Stop wasting time and money. I have 15 years of experience working with clients, successful winning projects, and avoid bad clients. We're confident that this course will help you grow your freelancing business. Again, not too bad. Could take a little bit of refinement there, and a prospect with confidence. Get your winning proposals off on the right foot and eliminate the stress of prospecting. With this course, you can help yourself craft winning proposals that answer your clients' needs and stay confident in the process. Again, I really like the sound of that. Needs a little bit of refinement. And then we go down, we've got further. So keep your project management skills sharp and save time. Okay, and let's take a look at the third and final one. Learn to manage your clients and projects like a pro. The client lifecycle, you can learn how to be more productive and organized so you can spend less time worrying about project management and more time doing the work. That is a good one. I like the look of that one. And this is the benefit of using tools like AI that come back with multiple different examples. You can pick and choose the different sections you want because they're all using the same information. So I quite like the look of that one. Create a predictable, quick and profitable client pipeline. Freelancers and designers struggle to find and maintain clients that can provide them with a steady stream of income. The Client Lifecycle, of course, will help you create a predictable, quick and profitable. No, that's not what it's doing. Web designers, this course is for you. The Client Lifecycle will teach you how to develop your own winning processes to streamline your web design business. You learn the skills and mindsets necessary to break away from the churn and burn and finally be profitable. No more struggling to keep up with clients. Instead, take control and learn how to say no. Yeah. Learn how to handle clients and win more projects. We've been in your shoes. After 15 years of practical experience handling clients, winning projects, and avoiding bad clients, we're ready to share the lessons we learned the hard way with you. Join the Client Lifecycle today and learn how to best manage your time, energy, and budget for a successful freelance career. That is really good. I like that. Get the winning edge. If you're a freelancer or web designer, chances are you have many clients. Crafting winning proposals that answer your clients' needs is the key to success. Client Lifecycle will help you craft winning proposals and manage your project workflow. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab the bits that I actually like. So this is good. I like the look of this. So what we can do is we can just leave this open, to be honest. We'll leave these 3 open because then I can grab them as we go through the next stage, which is to start to build things out. So you can see by using a tool like this AI tool, you can get a really solid starting point. I would spend a little time honing these to make them more in keeping with my tone of voice and changing things from we to I because it's just me. But for me, these are pretty solid. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a look at how we go about actually starting to build your overall landing page. Now, you could use WordPress, and there's nothing wrong with using WordPress alongside pages like Elementor or any of those kinds of tools. But for this example, I'm going to be using Brizy Cloud, or Brizy Cloud, depending upon where you're from. Why? Because it gives me a couple of things that I find a really good starting point. One, if I want to host it on the Brizy server, I can do. But I can also take this and put it on my own server so I can make sure I've got as fast and as reliable a server as I need. And I can then just synergistically link the two, or I can just download the entire code and upload it to where I want. For this example today, I'm going to leave this on the Brizy Cloud servers, but you can just as easily put this somewhere else. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project. We're going to call this a landing page, and we're just going to give this a name. So there you go, it's the Client Lifecycle landing page. So let's go ahead and edit our project. Okay, so we've now got our Brizy Cloud starting point. If you want to start from scratch, you can do that. You could go ahead and use the building blocks and so on. But for this example, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a full page design. So let's go to the layouts. And let's find something that I think is going to be a good starting point for the kind of thing that I want to create. Now, as with all these things, they are literally just starting points. So let's find something that I think is in keeping to the style that I want to create. Yeah, this looks pretty good, this Brandio. So let's just choose that. Yeah, that kind of looks like I've got the features and benefits and things that I would want. So we're going to replace the global standard to make sure that we pull in the style in this inside here. We'll override some of that anyway, but it gives us a good starting point. Let's go ahead and import that layout and then we can start to refine this. So first of all, let's go over and take a look at the different sections inside here. We don't need the header. We'll get rid of that and we'll scroll down. We don't need the footer. At the end of the day, this is a landing page, so we don't need those kinds of things. Now I like to have a call to action at the top of the page, and I like to have a video that tells you about the course. So the first thing that you kind of see is what the course is about, the benefit to you, and a video you can watch straight away. And then we'll break it down to those 3 key benefits of the course, the key sort of things before we look at call to actions in relevant different places. Now I'm no landing page expert, so take this with a grain of sand, but I found that this works for me when I've created landing pages on previous courses and things that I've done. Okay, let's go to our background. Okay, so it now looks like we've lost everything, but all we need to do is just go ahead and give this a color. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the WPTuts site, just for speed, just so I can show you another tool that is invaluable if you are grabbing colors and things and fonts and typography. So if you're using Chrome as your browser, or a Chrome-based browser, you know you can add extensions in. And one of the extensions I like is this little one, which allows me to go ahead and grab the colors from here. So I can easily see any of the colors. Now, yes, you could be using, or should be using, a brand guide, but I want to show you that if you're doing this for a customer, a client that doesn't have it, or if you don't have it, you can still very quickly just grab those colors without having to mess about too much. So we can see there's our orange color, and if we scroll through, we should find the purple color. Okay, but I'm not finding that on there. Let's just close that down. Let's go to one of my internal pages where I know that color is, and we'll do the same thing again. So there we go, there's my purple, so we're going to grab that colour, hop back over into Brizy, and what we're going to do is we're going to come into our colour palette, and inside there we're going to change this purple colour to our purple colour, and we're going to quickly hop back over to our site, and we're going to grab our orange, which is kind of our secondary colour for the brand guides, and we're going to just replace this light blue with that. Now the beauty of this is that anywhere that uses those colours, you can see will now automatically update to show them, so all the icons, the sort of subsections, everything's all updated. So that's pretty cool. So what we're going to do now is grab this section again. We're going to go into our background color. I'm going to set that to be our purple, and boom, there you go. Let's go ahead now into our more settings, and let's get rid of that shape at the bottom. Okay, so now we've started creating something a bit more in keeping to what I want. Next thing we need to do is insert our typography and our text. So let's go over to here. Let's grab this first section, which is our kind of call to action. So we'll copy that from there. Come back into here. Let's just select all that, paste it in. We'll just select it all again, and we'll just tweak this, set the alignment, set the colors and so on. So I'll set that to white. Okay, so the font at the moment is not the font that I want to use. I use Open Sans. And again, another little great tool inside here is if we come out of this, just our positioning on there if we want to, easy enough to do. And also we can adjust the position of this, and let's just take that out. Okay, so now we're starting to get somewhere. We're kind of getting a starting point. So let's just save our draft to make sure that everything is saved as we go along. So the next thing we need to do is have some form of video that we want to drop into this particular section. Now, for all my course content, I've been using Bunny CDN. So this is where I'm kind of hosting the videos. And the reason I kind of do that, and I've done a video in this on its own, which I'll link in the description below. Bunny CDN offers a streaming feature, which is incredibly cheap. We're talking probably cents or pennies per day, and that's for a decent amount of traffic going through it. So I've already uploaded a pile of videos. We're going to go into my client lifecycle. I've organized things inside here. So we've got an introduction video. This is the introduction video. So I'm going to open this up. All I need to do is disable the autoplay on there because I don't want autoplay, and we'll save that. So now I can grab this little bit of code, and that's going to copy the video and all the different settings. So this is all really been branded up to be the same consistent orangey kind of color with everything else. So the branding is all on point. So we can come back into here now, embed. There's our embed code. So we'll just drop that in there. So now what we need to do is paste in that little bit of code that we had from Bunny CDN. So let's just drop that inside there, and bang, there's our video. So you can see this is all coming together really, really quickly. You know, there's nothing complex about this whatsoever. So now we'll grab this section, go into our settings, into more settings, and we're just going to put some negative margins at the top so we can just have this overlap. Oh, that's padding. Let's open up our margins. And let's put some negative space there. So there we go. We can just position that. Let's go a little bit further. Let's say 150. That looks good. So now we're creating our custom layout. I want to make this a little bit smaller. So what we're going to do is, okay, there we go. So what I want to do is just make this say 75%. There we go. I'm going to adjust our spacings at the top. I don't need all that space there. Bottom's perfectly fine. Might make that a bit smaller. So let's just adjust that slightly and get that onto 2 lines. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. So let's again do the same thing for this video. I want to make this just a little bit smaller. So what we can do is select this, and we can just make it a bit smaller. So let's say about 85%. That looks good. So now we're starting to create our layout. Let's save that draft. So this is all coming together from that AI content. So next up, we've got this sort of subsection that we want to pull in. So again, let's go back to our AI. Let's take a look at what we have for these sort of second sections. Now, I'm pretty sure that I like some of these earlier ones a bit better. Let's have a look. What was the first one? Client Lifecycle is a course that will show you how to build organization. No, don't want that one. Okay, so we like the look of this one. Stop wasting time on client tasks. Let's grab that. So we're going to grab that subheading. I'm going to copy that from there. Head back into Brizy. Get rid of this subsection. We don't need that. We're going to grab this and we're going to paste in our content inside there. Okay, so we'll just align that to the center. Make sure that's okay. Now this is currently using heading 2, so again we're going to need to go in and change our global headings to make sure everything is consistent. So we'll select that, change that over to Montserrat, give that a second to update, and we're going to adjust the line spacing. There we go. The letter spacing, I should say. Okay, so now that we've globally set that up, that's all pretty good. Now we can just drop in our second little section inside there, so let's just do that. Like I say, I would refine the content of this, but I don't want to waste your time showing you how I would make all those changes. Again, let's make sure that this all stands out. Okay, I'm liking the look of that. Let's adjust this spacing a little bit. There we go, that looks a bit better. So then what we could do is we can drop in these different sort of benefits, you know, safe and secure, risk management, those kinds of things. But for this example, we're going to get rid of those. So next up then we've got this sort of section that's the benefits of this particular course. Let's change the background color of this a little bit, just to tweak it and make it stand out ever so slightly. About 2% on that looks pretty good. And we do exactly the same then. We're going to duplicate this. Let's duplicate it and duplicate it one more time and set the middle one to be back to white. There we go. So we're now just creating a slight visual separation between the key benefits. And now we can go ahead and set these benefits. So let's go back into our landing pages. Let's go and take a look. So if I remember rightly, I like the third one on one of these. Okay, so let's take this as an example. So number 1 feature. We're not going to call it that, but we're going to use that as the basis. So let's just call this benefit 1. Okay, so set that typography above title. Now I kind of like the look of the styling on it originally, so let's just change the color of that. We'll go for our orange color, and we'll adjust our typography on there, and we'll make that bold. There we go. So you can see how you can very easily override the global styles by setting things up inside here. Now I don't want these 2 sections. I'm going to get rid of those completely, and let's drop in the actual benefits. Paste it in, making sure that this is now set to heading 2 is perfectly fine, but let's set it to heading 3. Let's just select it, heading 3, just to make it a little bit smaller, and then we can set our global style up on there. So again, going to come into our global styles, find heading 3, change this over to Montserrat. There we go. And then we're going to put the benefit underneath. Let's remove any of these spaces because I don't want anything like that inside there. Okay, so this is now where we are with regards to this. Again, let's go ahead and save this draft. So the next thing you need to do is change this image to something that actually has some relevance to what we're doing. So for this, we're going to be using Envato Elements. And we're going to do a search for processes or process. Let's have a little look. What can we come back with? Now I want to look for just graphics. So there's graphics, and I kind of like this sort of illustration, this over-exaggerated illustration of people. I kind of think this is very much in keeping with what people expect, and it works. But you could use whatever you want ideally, you might pay an illustrator to create content like this for you, or have some customized content, or you might have brand assets yourself to use. For this example, though, like I say, we're looking at how can we go about streamlining this process and make it something that we could repeat quite easily with different clients. So the next thing we need to do is now go and find something that I think is going to be in keeping with the type of content that I'm looking for. So you've got things like these. Ultimately, you want something that has more than one image in a kind of set that you could use, because then you have a consistency of look and feel across your brand. So I'm going to take a couple of moments to go and find something on here, something that I quite like the look of, and we're going to use that then as the basis. Okay, so I ended up with this set of e-learning illustrations, which you can see they're kind of in keeping with some of the things that I want to use. Like I said, I'm going to refine the actual content that's going to be on the page anyway, but this is going to be a good starting point. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to simply grab a license for these, download them, and then we're going to take a look at converting these. I'm going to be using Affinity Designer for this, and we're going to be saving these out as SVG files to give us the maximum flexibility for making sure that everything scales great across all different kinds of devices. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to download this. I'm going to go ahead and open these up now with Affinity Designer. Okay, so there's the files. Now, one of the things that you can find sometimes when you get these is that everything is kind of lumped together in one overall package, which makes it a bit of a pain in the bum to do anything with. But thankfully, when you're working with Affinity Designer, you can very easily just highlight over a section, and as long as it overlaps everything in that area, it'll all be selected. And now I can just go ahead and group those together. So we can just very easily just quickly go ahead, select, group, and finally group. And there we go. We've now got 4 different images all grouped together. So what I'm going to do is grab this first one. I'm going to copy that from there. We're going to go ahead and create a new document. Set this to 800 by 600 is perfectly fine. So we'll create that from there. Let's just. Okay, so now we're going to drop that illustration inside there and resize it. Like I said, the nice thing is with SVG is that we're going to get great quality without massive file size. Okay, so there's the first one. So all I need to do now is go up and we're going to export this. So let's go to File and Export. SVG is perfectly fine, SVG for export, but there's a couple of options. So we can say small size and so on. So let's just say small size. We'll set this to 96. And you can see this is going to come back with 14.62 kilobytes. So not too bad at all. So we can export that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing now for the other illustrations we're going to use. Okay, so now we've got our illustrations. The next thing we want to do is make sure that we've got all the content in keeping. Now I've gone back and I've kind of redone a couple of different runs on the content that was being created. It was okay, but I wasn't overly impressed with some of the things on it. It wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. So I've just done exactly the same thing. I just run it again and I've grabbed some different content, but still using the same AI information. So we've now learned how to develop your own winning processes. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and change this image over. So let's select. We're going to delete the image from there. And we're going to grab the first image that we want. So let's go to our desktop, and this one we want the process SVG. We'll say open, and there's our process SVG. If you want to adjust the position of this, you can do that very easily. So we'll set that into the center position, and we'll do exactly the same then over on the right hand column if we need to. So again, we're going to go to the cog section. He's already there. So now I just need to repeat that for the other sections on here. I'm not going to bore you with showing you all of that. I'll show you the kind of end result afterwards. It's just going to be the same thing. So the next thing I want to do is have some way of allowing people to sign up to be notified or to purchase the course. At the moment, this is kind of a pre-enrollment, so you're going to subscribe to a mailing list. But I generally use Thrivecart. So what I would need to do is actually set this up to be a case that would link through to the cart page. And if you'd like me to show you how to use that or how to set up an entire course using Thrivecart and Learn Plus, let me know in the comment section and I'll take a look at doing that for you. But for now, we're going to link this up to MailerLite, where we're going to set this up to easily go ahead and allow anybody that's interested to subscribe to be notified as soon as the course is available. So to do that, we're going to use another feature as part of Brizy Cloud. And we're going to just click on this button. We're going to first of all change the styling of this to make sure everything's in keeping. So at the moment we're looking at the colors, that's perfectly fine. But we can choose any of our pre-built colors and also the hover state. And you can see this has just picked up the colors that I've changed in there. We do need to change the typography though, because at the moment that's using the wrong one. So again, we've got button as the state. Let's go ahead, find our button inside here. There's our button, and let's just change that to Open Sans, for example. So we have a little bit of difference, and we'll change that to be bold. There we go, we've now set our button up. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to set this to be a pop-up. So when it pops up, so it's a nice clean interface, doesn't take us anywhere else. We click on the link icon, and then we can choose what we want to do. We've got URLs, blocks, pop-ups, and files. So for this example, we're going to use the pop-up feature. So we'll select that. We're going to click the plus, and that will then open up the pop-up browser. So now what we can do is we can go through here and we can find something that we think is a good starting point, or we can start completely from scratch. It's entirely up to you. So let's go ahead and say we like the look of one of these. Let's find something that's a kind of a subscribe option, so I can use that as a starting point. This looks pretty good. Let's just choose this. We'll select it. Now if we click it again, that will open up the pop-up so we can now start editing and working with it. So you can see at the moment this is pulling in some of our default colors and some colors that are not. So this background color, which is like this dark blue, I want to change that. So we're going to select pop-up, choose the background, and we're going to set that to our purple. So we've now got our purple and our orange together. Subscribe to our newsletter doesn't make any sense, so we'll just say, and we'll just pop underneath. We can then go ahead and just fine tune this typography. So we're going to set that to be white. We're going to make it bold, and let's make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to change the button, and we also want to make sure that we've got this linked up to our MailerLite account. So first of all, let's deal with the button. So let's just select that. Let's change the typography on there. Again, we're going to go Open Sans is fine. Let's just make that a little bit heavier weight. Actually, that's fine. And we need to change the color of the text to white. There we go. So join now is perfectly fine. We can say sign up, whatever you kind of want. And if you want to add more fields in, you can simply just drag and drop more fields in, and that's really easy to do. That's now going to go ahead, and any of the lists I've got set up and associated with my particular account will be listed inside here. So now what I can do is I can choose the account that I want. If I don't have one, I can click on connect, and I simply need to drop the API from MailerLite into this so we can just grab and connect up to my account. So I'm going to choose the account that I want and click continue. This is then going to ask what list you want to associate this with. So I'm going to associate this with the right list. We'll hit continue one more time. And then what we need to do is map the fields. Now we've only got the email field, so that's perfectly fine. So we can see there's our MailerLite fields, email is fine. And obviously if you put a name field in there and so on for personalization, you just connect those 7 fields together. It's easy enough to do. And we are now done. So pretty cool and easy. Now, I don't want to do this again. I want to save this as a reusable component. So what I need to do is come up to this little option in the top right-hand corner and select it. And we're going to favorite this. We're going to add it with the heart. So we're going to save that. And now where I want to use this on the other buttons in our design, I can call that back up. So let's go back out of this. So now we're going to need to do that for the other buttons on the site for this sign up. So all we need to do is come to the next button. We'll select it. We'll choose the option for the link. We'll choose pop-up. We'll click pop-up on the plus. We'll go to saved. And inside there, there's our pop-up. Done. Repeat the process one more time underneath. And we're going to do the same thing again. So pop-up, click, saved, select the one we want. Boom, and we're done. So we'll save that draft. So now all I would do is go ahead and repeat this, adding in the features and the benefits and so on to get a fully fledged landing page ready to promote it. So let's just say we're happy with this. We're going to go ahead and publish this page. So that's our landing page all done. We're happy with everything on there. We're going to hop back out of this to our dashboard. And now we can go ahead and we can publish this. So here's our client lifecycle landing page. We can go ahead and preview this if we want to, but what we're going to do is we're going to come to this top corner and we're going to say publish. Once we choose that, we can now choose how we want to publish it. So we've got custom domain, which is probably what you would want to use, which would be, the domain for the course, the landing page, whatever it is you're kind of using. You can use a subdomain, which is a free subdomain, that's something.brizy.site, which is what we'll use for this example. But if you choose this option, it gives you all the information on how to go ahead and actually connect this up. Or you can use the server sync, which is you'll download this, upload it to your own hosting account, and you'll have that synergistic link between making changes in the Brizy Cloud platform and the server where you have the landing page or site residing, which is a really cool way of doing it. or you can use third-party free hosting if you want to. I say for this example, we're going to use the subdomain. Oh, and before I go any further, you can also just download the HTML files and upload those. So there's no then link between the Brizy Cloud server and anything else. This is literally, there's the HTML files, there's all the files you need to make this to work, the pop-ups and everything. Just stick it wherever the hell you want. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's just use the subdomain for now. We're just going to call this demo page.brizy.site. So we'll submit that, and there's everything sorted. So now we can go ahead. You can see there's our link. Okay, so now I can go ahead and take a look at this and see if everything's working okay. So we can click to open this up. There's our landing page. There's the content we set up from our AI platform. There's our video, which we can click to start playing, which is part of Bunny CDN. And then we can go ahead and see all the features and benefits, our resizable images that are in SVG format, our features and benefits of all the different things. Click to open that up. There's our pop-up, which we can simply drop our name in or our email address inside there. That will then connect that up into our relevant group on MailerLite or whatever platform you prefer to use. Everything is all set up really, really simple. Now, like I say, this is just a starting point. This is a kind of proof of concept. Do I think you could actually use a tool like Writesonic or Jarvis or whatever that's currently called, or Bertha AI, to create this kind of content? Depends on the platform you're using, but generally I would say yes, you can. Writesonic comes back with some really good examples. They do still refine or need refinement, but it's a great starting point. And then all these different tools, you could see, without spending a huge amount of money, you could easily set yourself up with great looking landing pages hosted wherever you want, or using Brizy or WordPress or whatever platform you want to use. Grabbing images that you can edit and do what you want from a platform like Envato Elements, but again, there's free options out there if you want to grab them. Connecting out to MailerLite, which again, you can use the up to 1,000 subscribers for absolutely zero cost. There are some limitations, but you can still connect everything up to your account, start grabbing email accounts, start sending information out to people, and start making money. You could also very easily use these tools as a great starting point to help generate income as a side hustle or as a main part of your business with clients. I think the AI is solid enough, providing you input with enough good information to come back with a good enough starting point that would mean that you wouldn't necessarily need to have a copywriter, but you may want to still get feedback from your client. But I think it's still a good, solid starting point to be able to use these tools together. But you've hopefully seen, with me just sort of fumbling around a little bit on this today and trying to explain how and why I'm doing different things, that this is a totally viable option. All the videos that I've talked about, all the individual videos on different topics and things are in the description below, so you can check those out. And if you want me to create a video about how I use Learn Plus and Thrivecart and how I would connect all of that up together with my landing pages to deal with everything, let me know in the comment section below. As always, all applicable links are in the description. My name is Paul C. Until next time, take care.